Another thing I want to talk to you about, though, that this came out, I think it probably happened right after your book came out or right around the same time, was the renaming of polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. And then I saw, God, I wish I could remember who it was, but somebody was like, a couple weeks later, was like, yeah, there's an ulterior motive. I don't know if it was Danny Hamilton. Oh, I can't remember, but it was like it had something to do with pharma. And I'm like, you know what? I can believe that. That's probably why they renamed it. But what do you think about that? Do you like the new name? I mean, do you feel like it's getting closer to what this condition actually is?
They were talking about this years ago, even before they renamed it officially. Basically, we were hearing that, okay, wait, with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, you don't actually have to have the cysts on your
Right.
ovaries to be diagnosed, right? So the diagnostic criteria was, well, you have insulin resistance, which causes this androgen dominance, but you don't always have to have the androgen dominance. But usually the insulin resistance is there with the progesterone deficiency and the missed cycles. So when you have that kind of combination, then you treat it as PCOS. At the end of the day, conventional medicine is going to give you a birth control. We're
Yep.
going to test your
In
thyroid and
there.
give you progesterone. Like that's
Y-
that's how we're
Yep.
going to treat it, kids. So there
Yep.
we go. And we're going to control your insulin. Well, you might be insulin resistant because of your thyroid. You might be insulin resistant because of the low progesterone, or you just might be eating like garbage and you need to change some things up. So that's it in a nutshell. It's easy breezy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I was way back in the, I mean, I think it was like in the late 90s, I was diagnosed with that. And I did
Yep.
happen to have the cysts, but they were simple cysts and they dissolved anyway. Like that,
I did too. Yeah.
it's so crazy. And
Same.
that vaginal ultrasound was like the worst experience of my life, but they made me go through that. And then it was like, yeah, here's this prescription for birth control. And I ripped it up. I have nothing against birth control. Let me be clear. I just don't like the synthetic, the hormones.
Yeah.
I didn't
Mhm.
know scientifically. I just knew intuitively, like, this is not good for me. I'm not taking it. I don't want to mess with it. There's other ways, people can, can prevent conception. Why like ruin your body? And I know that you've done a lot of episodes where you've talked about like coming off of that and, other people, like what it does to the body and everything. So,
Yep.
um, and just the fact that that is just the go-to answer for everything. Like it's just what we do in
Crazy.
conventional medicine. I mean, it drives me crazy. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about, Amy, while I have you here too, is water. How do you feel about water? Because I know like since I was a little kid, my dad was a doctor. He was always after us to drink more water. So I've been drinking like a gallon of water a day, probably almost my whole life. But do you feel like we've gone too extreme with that, or what's your feeling on that? What do you tell patients?
No, I don't know. I still think that the need for the average American to drink more water is still there,
Yeah,
because we're kind of in our bubble of the health space,
yeah,
so it's just natural
yeah,
for us to have one of these
yeah.
with us
Here's
at all
mine. Yeah,
times.
yeah,
But I think if you step back and look at the average person and they're grabbing iced tea and they're grabbing a soda and they're drinking hardly. My husband is one of them. He doesn't drink enough water at all. And it's just, that's what the average person does. So I think that message of drink water to flush your kidneys to for all metabolic processes, we still have to get that out there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because the person I'm working with now in her book, she's like, believe it or not, there's a Sonic caddy coder from my clinic, and she's like, it's always crowded. And I see these people coming out with these slushy drinks.
Yes.
And her patients will tell her, well, I don't like the way water tastes, and she's like, it's because you're drinking slushes or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah,
Slurpees, whatever from Sonic, and it's screwing with your
exactly.
taste buds.
Yep.
And the ironic thing is that stuff just makes you more thirsty, which makes you drink more of that crap, and it's just like this vicious cycle.
Exactly.
And and it's crazy.